have got a bonus stitch for you. This wasn't originally in my course material when I was figuring it all out and putting it together. And then I realized you're going to need it for the final project, of which is this lovely headband. You're going to need it for doing the stitch because it's a half double crochet and a slip stitch. But also when you put it together, you're going to need the slip stitch to do the seam. So first, we are going to start off with a basic slip stitch. I'm going to show you running across the work. And I'm also going to show you how to add a color here. If you like finished off your work and you finish it and you're like, oh, it says attach another color. Basically the same thing. Finish off your thing, tie your knot, do your knot where I showed you how to pull through that last stitch. Then we're going to hook your next color. And I'm going to do black because it's good and contrasting. You guys can see the difference very easily. If I can pull through, I'll be okay. All right, so we got it pulled through. You want to make sure to hold on to this tail because otherwise you will pull that sucker right out. Now slip stitch, now with this, I'm going to attach it. I'm going to finish it up. So I got to tighten that down so it stays on there and it's not going to be pulling. Okay, so for slip stitch, you're going to go into your next stitch like you normally would for any other stitch. Okay, yarn over and pull it through. Now you've pulled it through, but you're going to go through the one on your hook too. This very first one's always the hardest one, especially when you've just attached it. If it's already attached, it's not as difficult. So I'll show you again. Through, yarn over, pull through, and pull through. If you get good, you can usually do this all in one thing, but I still can't do it in like one simple pull through and get them both. I kind of have to work my work a little bit. But you can see how easy it is. Now the nice thing with the slip stitch is say you need to move your yarn down a couple stitches, you can do this and it doesn't add any real height. It also gives you kind of a nice little edge on it. You can work it around the sides too even to finish off your work very nicely. You just have to read your pattern and see what it says for what you need. I'm going to pull that off for a second now and we are going to fold this in half. I'm going to show you on this piece here how to work your edge if you need to slip stitch it together to finish your work. Sometimes you're going to go along your raw edge and sometimes you're going to go along your finished edge. And your finished edge is going to be where you were just working. See all my loops and your chain on the bottom. And your raw edge is going to be these side pieces that really don't have much definition to them, especially when you're working in a single crochet. When you're working in a double crochet, you're just going to have to kind of figure out your spacing. Some patterns will tell you you need to run 20 slip stitches along the side, and you might work it 2 or 3 times. I've done that before, trying to get them to space just right so that you have 20, because that count is what is important, not necessarily exactly where it's placed, but you want it to look even and neat. Okay. Now, when I'm doing a side piece here, we are going to try to not have just one, although it would be fine on this, on your hook. And we're going to attach our yarn here. Okay, I'm just going to kind of lock it in place. And as we slip stitch across, you're going to want to make sure that your piece stays even. Try your best to see where your rows are and that they line up. The end is always like stretched out for some reason. But you can see where your rows are. And then we're going to just kind of feel along for the next hole. And you want to try to keep it so it's all lined up. And I'm wanting to do a single crochet. And you just kind of go along. Typically with a single crochet like this, you're going to put 1 slip stitch per row. Typically, like I said, read the pattern. The pattern is king when it comes to this and knowing what you need to do. And it's actually quite easy because your hook will just naturally almost find right where you need to go with it. The first one and the last one are always the hardest two to find. And then here I am having trouble with this one, but you get the gist. You can see that it's not always just easy to find. I'm going to finish this up so I can show you what it looks like once we open it up. Your slip stitch is going to be good for not adding any height to your work. So say you need to move your yarn over a couple stitches, but you don't want to add any height to it for the pattern you're working on. You'll do a couple slip stitches. Or you're wanting to add texture to your work. And see, I didn't pay attention to my rows here, so I'm going to have to kind of stretch out a little bit. Not really stretch it, but it's just, I haven't blocked this piece yet, so it's not square like it should be. But I'm not going to block this. This was just a test piece anyways, just to kind of show you guys what I'm doing. But you would want to block your work prior to seaming it together if you are going to make a piece that is seamed typically. Okay, I'm just going to pull up a large loop so I can show you. And then we're going to flip this inside out. Excuse me, I'm bumping my camera. But you can see, this is why you would want to use a matching color. But you can see right where the seam is. But when you do a matching color, you don't see that seam as much. Now, if we do it on this other piece, I'm going to show you from top to bottom, because this one here just is not long enough for that. I don't know if I can find my end here. There we go. And excuse me, I'm all wrapped up now. I got yarn going every which way because I don't want to cut pieces. But now we got our end piece here. You can see where the chain is here. And this is the beginner dishcloth that I have the files for in the beginner files pattern. And there is your last row that we did. Okay. You're going to put these together. Let me find my end again. It's right here somewhere. There it is. Now with this, it's much easier because I can see, okay, here's my chain, or here's my last row. And you want to slip through there, if I can. I might have tightened this too much. Okay. And then over here on your chain, you've got two options. You can go up under this side, which is only going to be one on there. Oh, no, actually, that is actually the chain, the end chain. So that's why it's causing me. I'm sure it looks a little different. But let's just attach this here. Okay, and the next one, you're going to go under that last stitch. And then when you come to the other side of the work, you're going to see it'll naturally line up with your beginning chain. Well, I can't see what I'm doing. There we go. Okay. And it'll just go right through. Well, make sure you don't get too low on this other side. Sometimes it's easy to put your hook in at an angle and miss your spot on the other side, especially if it has slid on you or adjusted. So you just work it at your pace. There is no race to get anything done. This is supposed to be enjoying and relaxing. Oop. And I split the yarn there. So I'm going to redo it. If you have trouble pulling through, you probably split your yarn and you're hooked on it. So just undo it and do it again. And it's no big deal. Like I've said before, and I will say it 100 times, that's one thing I love about crochet, is it is a whole lot more forgiving than knitting. Don't get me wrong, knitting makes some beautiful stuff. I prefer my socks knit over crochet. I think crochet is a little bulky for socks. Now, unless you're going to do like a really nice pair of winter socks or something like that, then yeah, go ahead. Go for a nice bulky yarn and do a quick crochet. I'm not going to go all the way down through this because this is like 40 stitches or something like that. But we're going to flip it inside out again so you can see what it would look like on this end. And there you go. And this is a much neater, because the stitches do line up so much better than on the ends. And you see how nice and flat that is. There is no raised thing. And on the inside, you just have this really nice, almost sewn looking stitch. Here's the back side, and then the front side where the slip is. But anyways, we will see you guys in the next video, or I will talk about, I think it's blocking and finishing.